So we were talking about the Torah before, and the Torah.
Hello, Elazar. We're on Peiches 88. My timer kachamachavi rabbana. We said that if one aide comes and tells a person that he ate chaylev, and if the person doesn't protest and argue, he's machayv a korban. Now, why? Ilay mishum demehemin is because eid echad is believed. If you have two witnesses, there we said, even if the guy protests, inu mehem, the eidim are believed, but v'kapatri rabbanon, because we said that the guy could claim I'm amazing, and amazing doesn't record it. So it can't be that they believe him. Elalav mishum deishtik. Must be that the power is because of his silence. Ushtika kodadan. And maybe it's like it's like admitting. Well, and maybe there's no raya that you're soymech on one aid. Ella svorahu. This whole thing is a svar. Midi dave chaticha suffix shel chelev suffix shel shuman. Like in the case we have a piece of fat on the table, and you don't know whether it's chelev, you don't know whether it's permitted fat. The eid echad says, I know for sure it's shuman. And maybe you're going to tell me that in that case, ma'amin. So even there, if you say he's ma'amin, midami, they're not comparable. Hasam lo is chazik isura. There's no chazaka that piece of fat is aser. In fact, we don't know what it is. But by an eishes ish, she's already aser. Hacha is chazik isura deishes ish. Vein davar shebe'erva pachos mishnayim. Anything that involves an erva iser requires two aid, not one aid. Haloi dam, if you're going to compare it to something, el chaticha devadai chayla. Must be a piece of chayla that we know is chayla. V'asa eid echad v'amar borli d'shumana. And even though there's a chazaka that it's aser, an eid echad says, no, I know for sure that it's permitted. And there we say delo mehemen. But even there, midami. Also, mafil also be meya lo mehemni. Even 180 is not going to change chazaka. But hacha kiven the chiyasu be trei mehemni. But maybe you'll say as far since if two people came when there's no chazaka, they're believed. Chadnami lehemna. Maybe he would be believed. So the Gemara says maybe midi dahava tevel hegdish v'koinomas. It's going to be like tevel hegdish, and when you make a neder, that something's going to be usher to you like a loaf of bread. Now, what are these cases? High tevel hechidam. Now, when it comes to produce, that maybe maestros and trumas were not taken. And he says, you know what, I know that this tevel has been fixed so that you can eat it. Now, Edi Day, if the produce belongs to him, maybe there's a reason to believe him, Mishum Dibiyana L'Sakna. Since he can he can give Trumas and Maisels from his own produce, he's believed because it's in his hands to correct it. Ela Da'acher, maybe the produce belongs to somebody else. Mike Sofer. If you hold that I can give truma for somebody else's tevel without informing the bailim, So it's the same svar. He's believed because to be yada l'sakno, because he has the ability to give trumas and maasros. And if we hold that you got to let the bailim know the omar, and he says, I know for sure that this produce is metukan. The question is, he gufa minola. How do we know that an aide giving that testimony would believe? Hegdish nami. We could do the same analysis by hegdish. Ikdushas damim. If the dvar hegdish is monetary hegdish, not kedushas aguf, he shouldn't be out of doiso. He can redeem it. If it belonged to him, he can go to a chacham and ask a chacham to be matir neder. Ela de acher must be that the animal which has kedushas aguf belongs to somebody else. The Omar and the aide says Yadana Beidichul Mori Alei. I know for sure that the owner went to a chacham and asked a shaila. Well, the question is he believed he gufa minola? We don't know. And koinamos nami iksav yesh meila bekoinamos. If we hold that there's meila, it's considered koche berek abayis. Ukdushas dami nachdalu mishum divyadol v'doisa. It's the same case as hegdish. He can redeem it. Iksav meila bekoinamos. Ve'isr ba'almahu derochiv lo akatve. Maybe it's not meila, but it's got a certain isser. So if it belongs to him, he can go ask a chacham himself. Ela the acher, the Omer Anayadana Dichumorei belongs to somebody else, and he comes and gives testimony and says, I know that somebody else asked the chacham about it. He goofa me, no, we don't know the answer whether the aid is believed. Because of the chumras we did, because of the chumras that at the end, if her husband comes back, we say that there's a mamzer from both fathers and all the other chumras. We made it easy for her to be able to marry with one aid, because she's not going to rely on that. She's going to do her own investigation. So the Gemara says, Lo lichmer v'lo leikel. Let's not be machmir on the way if the husband comes back, and that way we don't have to be makel on the way in. So mishum iguna kila be'rabbanan, because the chachamim don't want women to be chained, so they are makel even be'edecha. Teitze mezeh mizeh. And if the husband comes back, we force a divorce from both of the husbands. That's if she had got married with one aid and Bezdin mattered her. This is Alpishne Edim without Bezdin lo teitze. She doesn't have to get divorced, even from the first husband. So they laughed on that in Eretz Yisrael. Also, what? Her husband shows up and is standing there, and you say that we shouldn't force a divorce from the second husband? I mean, even if the two Adim came and said that the guy had died, well, here's the guy. We don't recognize him. The guy who came back, we don't recognize him. So we don't know who to believe. If we don't recognize him, then why do we say even Beit Echad Teitze? It shouldn't be Teitze at all. The case is two Adim come. We were with the guy. We didn't leave him for a minute. You don't know him. And that can happen. Right? Yosef left, he didn't have a beard. Now he has a beard, and even family members can forget how a person looks. Sof training. So then you have a situation, two Adim say he died, and two Adim say no, he's alive. So So it's a suffix, and she had lived with the new husband. So in Isra Kores, you have to bring an Asham Talui because it's a suffix. She had married one of her aidim. So the aid was batuach. It's not a suffix by him. So there's no Asham Talui. Yeah, but she should bring an Asham Talui. Doimeres Barili, she also was 100% confident. So what's the chiddush? I feel Rabbi Nachem Rabbi Yosi Omar. When did Rabbi Menachem Bar Yosi say his din? Adim came to say he was alive and she's still married. He didn't say that you force a divorce if first she married and then the Adim that say that she was alive came back. Where do we see this? The Tanya. Shnayim Omri Meis. Two Adim come and say the guy in China is dead. Shnayim Omri Lo Meis. So there's a kasha. Or Shnayim Omri Nizgarsha, Ushnayim Omri Lo Nizgarsha. L'chatchila rezu lo sinase. She should not get married because it's a suffix. The Yenisses lo tetzei. If she gets married against Allah, we don't force a divorce. Rabbi Menachem Rabbi Yossi Omer tetzei. Now, when does he say that? Omer Rabbi Menachem Rabbi Yossi Amos ani Omer tetzei. Bisman Shabau Edim, the second set of Edim that said that the husband is still alive. The Achakach Nisses. She went against that. So even though it was a suffix, she went against the fact that he was alive. Aval Nisses. But if Adim came to say he was dead and she got married, and then 2 years later, he agrees that you don't have to force a divorce. So Kikom Rav Nami is man shabau Adim Achakach Nisses. So the Chiddush is that Rav also said that even though this is a case of Adim and then she got married, we don't force a divorce to show that we don't paskin like Rav Nachem Rabbi Yossi. The reason why we say lo say is because the second set of Adim had not arrived. Aval ba'u Adim that said that he was alive. This is Teitzei. Come on, Rabbi Nachem Rabbi Yossi. Mosif Rava Naim Shim Lo Ratza Dafnei. Let's say he doesn't want a divorce, so we force him. Tapad Vikidashto Bal Korcho. Now Hechi Domi. What's the case? Ilem Edeloi Nisas Lechad Meideha. If we're talking about she had not married one of the Adim, V'lo Kam Raborili, and she did not say for sure I know. So you have to tell me a chiddush that we forced the divorce. The chiddush is he married one of the eight. She married one of the eight, and she also said, "I know for sure." Uketani dafnoi. We still say that we force a divorce. Alma mafkinim let me know. So the Gemara says there's no right because Isra Kahuna shiny. Maybe the Kidashtoi refers that we're machmir by Kohanim, but by regular cases we're not. Means we don't force a divorce. That's what we understood what dafnoi means. That if other Adim come and clarify, then she should not marry lechatchila. But if she marries lechatchila, we don't have to force a divorce.
What happens if a Kohen, a suffix, whether a woman was divorced or not? Can the Kohen get married to that woman? No. So that's why we take same as that. Otherwise, if it was Yisrael, it wouldn't have to then, right?
Correct.
Okay.
Well, the Gemara wants to bring a raya. The Gemara said you can't bring a raya here because we're talking about Kohanim. If the second group of Adim that said he was alive and then she got married, anyways, Rabbi Nachem Rabbi Yossi he, and it's the sheet of Rabbi Nachem that's who says Teitzei. Rav, he also means Teitzei, but Lo Teitzei Me'eter Arishon. Oh, Lo Teitzei Me'eter Arishon means we don't force a divorce. Her heter to get married remains. Freik the Gemara Ha'amar Rav Chadazimna. Rav already told us this once. Did none. Nisa Shaloi B'Rishus. She got married without Rishus Bezdin, Muteres Lachsor Lo. So she can go back to the first husband. He already said, Ram Ravuna Marava Hachi Ilchasa. Chadam Echlol Chaver Te'idma. One of the two you can learn, either way. Omer Shmoloi Shanu Ela Shaloi Makashta. When do we say that we force a divorce? The wife does not argue with the aide who said that her husband is alive. No, that means that which we say Tate say is when the wife doesn't protest. If the wife goes against what he's saying, lo say. Now, what's our case? If two Eidim came, so who cares if she protests? So maybe b'chad tama 1 time of the mechashto, and the reason lo say is because she argued. Hashaska teitse, and therefore, if she was quiet and didn't argue, she'd force a divorce from her ula. When the Torah believes 1 aid, it's as if there's 2 aidim. And just because a person is makish, who cares? It's considered like shnayim. The aid was a puzzle aid, like a woman. The Tanya Rav Nechemia Omer. We go after when you have a kosher aid, we see testimony of 2 aidim like a complete aidus. There's no difference whether there's 2 aidim, 3 aidim, 100 aidim. But since this is not an aidus gemura, we do go after numbers, even if somebody was puzzled. So if 2 women come and give testimony, we'll believe the 2 women against the 1 aid, because the 1 aid is like an isha. If the original aid that came was a kosher aid, then even 100 women are considered like 1 aid. So this was not a man who came; it was a puzzle aid, isha. The tartar of Nechemia Omer Kamakom Shamina Torah Echad Halach Acharav Deos. The also Shtei Noshim Be Isha Achas. 2 women against 1 woman is Kishnei Noshim Be Isha Echad. Aval Shtei Noshim Be Isha Echad Kepagu Pagadam. It's 50-50. The Rambam says if 1 aid comes to say that the husband is dead, and she gets married, and then 1 aid comes and says that he's not dead, so the woman remains married. One man comes to say that the husband died. Then you had many women to say that he didn't. It's like 50-50. Then the Mishnah said, "Tzricha get me zeh mizeh." So I think you asked the question, Elazar, Bisham and Berishon to boy get. We need a get from the first husband. She was married to him. Elamisheni amai znus ba'almahu. You can't create a marriage if she was an Eishes Ish. So why do you need a get from the second husband? Because people might think that the first husband had divorced her. We don't want people to think that a woman could go out without a get. They told her that her husband died. She had kiddushin. Then her husband comes, she can go back because it was only kiddushin. And there we don't require the second guy to give kiddushin because the kiddushin is not real. You can't be makadosh and eishes. Why don't over there Nami? Also Nami name a Gir Zeh V'Kiddush Zeh. We should also be worried that people will think, oh, the first guy divorced her, and this guy was Makabesh her. And an H says she's for him to say she's Yotza Shlo Beget. So the word says Loyal boy get. In that case, you need a get from the second guy. Iochi nim to zemachzer grushosa mishneh sarsa. So the first guy is basically being machzer her grusha from kiddushin to somebody else. So Rabbi Yossi ben Kippur, it's only if a woman married a next guy with actual nesuin that you can't be machzer your grusha. But if another man just gave you kiddushin, you could be machzer her. Very good. Okay, the next time we're going to learn is Monday night. Have a wonderful Shabbos, wonderful Shavuos, Alan.
I thought you wanted to learn another blot too. Did you say you wanted to learn two blot? Okay, either way.
No, we'll do it. We'll do it.
This night? What Monday night, right? 9:30?
Monday night, 9:15.
Okay. You're not home, are you?
I'm on the other side of town.
Oh, have we wondered for your Shabbos and Yom Tov? You say that, is that where you can be for Yom Tov, Shabbos?
Yes.
Oh, okay. Well, have a good time. Regards.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. That's great.